Hello, welcome to Prince Empire's Natural Living YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share with people you care about. In today's video, I will be talking about personality disorders and their effects. Everyone possesses a unique personality that encompasses their inner and outward experiences of the world, including emotions and behavior. When we refer to someone having a personality disorder, we are acknowledging a significant deviation from expected behavior or their perception of the world. This deviation leads to distress and impairs their functioning. In the current classification, personality disorders are categorized into three clusters denoted as Cluster A, Cluster B, and Cluster C. In this exploration of personality disorders, let's embark on a journey to unravel the weird, wild, and worried aspects of human behavior. These disorders are categorized into three clusters, each exhibiting distinct characteristics. Cluster A is known for its odd and eccentric nature, Cluster B for its dramatic and emotional tendencies, and Cluster C for its manifestation of anxiety and fearfulness. It's worth noting that there is overlap between these clusters, and individuals can experience multiple types of personality disorders. Now, let's delve into the fascinating world of personality disorders, starting with Cluster A, which comprises three unique disorders: Paranoid Personality Disorder, PPD; Schizoid Personality Disorder, SPD; Schizotypal Personality Disorder, STPD. Paranoid Personality Disorder, PPD. Individuals with this disorder exhibit a deep-seated distrust and suspicion towards others, aligning with its name, paranoid. Some examples: misinterpretation of others' actions. People with PPD often misinterpret neutral or benign actions as deliberately malicious. For example, they may believe that a colleague's casual comment is a personal attack or that a friend's invitation has hidden motives. Excessive suspicion. People with PPD often have an unwavering belief that others are out to harm or deceive them. They may constantly doubt the motives and intentions of those around them, even without substantial evidence. Hypervigilance. Individuals with PPD are hypervigilant and constantly on guard, anticipating betrayal or harm from others. They may scrutinize others' actions, looking for hidden meanings or ulterior motives. Reluctance to trust. Due to their deep-seated suspicion, individuals with PPD find it challenging to trust others. They may be unwilling to confide in or form close relationships, fearing that others will use their vulnerabilities against them. Schizoid Personality Disorder, SPD. People with schizoid personality disorder often display emotional detachment, particularly in their relationships, and demonstrate limited emotional expression. Some examples: social withdrawal. People with SPD tend to isolate themselves and avoid social interactions. They may prefer spending time alone, engaging in solitary hobbies or activities, rather than seeking out social engagements. Limited emotional expression. Individuals with SPD often display a restricted range of emotions and have difficulty expressing their feelings. They may appear emotionally detached or unresponsive in social situations. Lack of interest in relationships. Those with SPD typically have little interest in forming close relationships, including both romantic and platonic connections. They may not feel the need for companionship or have a desire for emotional intimacy. Difficulty with emotional closeness. Individuals with SPD may struggle with forming and maintaining emotional connections with others. They may find it challenging to share personal thoughts or feelings, and may seem distant or indifferent in their interactions. Focus on intellectual pursuits. People with SPD may have a strong interest in intellectual or abstract topics rather than interpersonal relationships. They may prefer activities that involve independent thinking or solitary intellectual pursuits. Schizotypal Personality Disorder, STPD. Those with schizotypal personality disorder not only tend to avoid close relationships, but also possess peculiar or magical thinking that sets them apart from other cluster disorders. Some examples: eccentric behavior. People with STPD may engage in eccentric behaviors that are perceived as odd or peculiar by others. This can include unusual mannerisms, dressing in unconventional ways, or having eccentric speech patterns. Odd beliefs or magical thinking. Individuals with STPD may hold unusual beliefs or engage in magical thinking. They may believe in superstitions, have a fascination with the paranormal or supernatural, or interpret coincidences as having special meaning. Social anxiety. Those with STPD often experience social anxiety and discomfort in social situations. They may feel uneasy or anxious around others, leading to a preference for isolation or limited social interactions. Lack of close relationships. Those with STPD often struggle with forming and maintaining close relationships. They may have few friends or acquaintances and may feel uncomfortable or anxious in social situations that require intimacy or emotional closeness. Transitioning to Cluster B. This cluster encompasses 4 personality disorders, namely Antisocial Personality Disorder, ASD, Borderline Personality Disorder, BPD, Histrionic Personality Disorder, HPD, Narcissistic Personality Disorder, NPD. As previously mentioned, Cluster B is often characterized by dramatic, emotional, or erratic traits. When examining antisocial personality disorder, ASD, individuals typically exhibit a disregard for others, frequently engaging in illegal activities without remorse. Their inconsideration towards others aligns with the name of the disorder. Some examples: lack of empathy. People with ASD typically have little to no empathy or remorse for the feelings or well-being of others. They may disregard the rights and emotions of others, using and manipulating them for personal gain without showing any guilt or empathy. Chronic violent or aggressive behavior. Some individuals with ASD may exhibit a pattern of aggressive or violent behavior. They may display a lack of impulse control, leading to physical fights, assaults, or acts of cruelty towards others. Superficial charm and manipulation. Those with ASD often possess a superficial charm and charisma that they use to manipulate and exploit others. They may be skilled at gaining trust and manipulating others to serve their own interests. Lack of remorse or guilt. Individuals with ASD often do not feel remorse or guilt for their actions, even when they cause harm to others. They may rationalize or justify their behavior, placing the blame on others or external circumstances. Regarding borderline personality disorder, BPD, individuals teeter on the brink of emotional and relationship instability, characterized by turbulent relationships, volatile emotions, and an inconsistent self-image. Impulsivity is prevalent, placing them at significant risk. Some examples: intense and unstable relationships. People with BPD often have tumultuous and unstable relationships, characterized by extreme idealization and devaluation of others. They may switch between intense feelings of love and admiration to anger, resentment, or fear of abandonment. Emotional instability. Individuals with BPD may experience rapid and intense mood swings that can last for hours or days. They may feel a deep sense of emptiness, experience chronic feelings of loneliness, and have difficulty managing their emotions. Impulsive behaviors. Those with BPD may engage in impulsive and potentially harmful behaviors such as excessive spending, reckless driving, substance abuse, self-harm, or risky sexual behaviors. These actions are often driven by an attempt to alleviate emotional pain or a fear of abandonment. Self-destructive behaviors. People with BPD may engage in self-destructive behaviors as a way to cope with emotional pain or to gain a sense of control. This can include self-harming behaviors like cutting or burning themselves, or engaging in suicidal ideation or attempts. Moving on to histrionic personality disorder, HPD, they exhibit attention-seeking behavior, often wearing flashy clothing or engaging in provocative actions. They openly express their emotions. Some examples: attention-seeking behavior. People with HPD often engage in attention-seeking behavior to gain the spotlight and be the center of attention. They may dress provocatively, use dramatic gestures, or speak loudly to draw attention to themselves. Excessive emotionality. Individuals with HPD tend to display exaggerated emotions. They may experience frequent and intense mood swings and have difficulty regulating their emotions. Their emotions may be overly dramatic or theatrical, and they may easily become emotionally overwhelmed. Seeking reassurance and approval. People with HPD have a strong need for reassurance and approval from others. They constantly seek validation and may go to great lengths to gain praise and admiration. They may become upset or distressed if they feel they are not receiving enough attention or admiration. Shallow and superficial relationships. Individuals with HPD may form relationships that are shallow and superficial in nature. They may be quick to form new relationships, but these relationships may lack depth and genuine emotional connection. Finally, narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, represents individuals with an inflated ego, viewing themselves as superior. They crave admiration and praise, responding harshly to criticism. Grandiosity serves as a defining trait, with their self-perception far exceeding external perception. Some examples: grandiose self-image. People with NPD have an exaggerated sense of self-importance. They may believe they are superior to others and have an unrealistic view of their own abilities and achievements. They often have a strong need to be recognized as special and exceptional. Constant need for admiration. Individuals with NPD require constant admiration and praise from others to maintain their self-esteem. They seek validation and recognition and may become angry or resentful if they feel they are not receiving enough attention or admiration. Exploitative behavior. Those with NPD may exploit others for their own personal gain. They may manipulate or take advantage of others to achieve their goals or maintain their sense of superiority. They may use others as a means to an end without considering the impact on those individuals. Envious and competitive. People with NPD may feel envious of others and be driven by a strong desire to be better than others. They may engage in competitive behaviors and constantly compare themselves to others to maintain their sense of superiority. Lastly, we arrive at Cluster C, which encompasses 3 personality disorders: Avoidant personality disorder, AFPD; Dependent personality disorder, DPD; Obsessive-compulsive personality disorder, OCD. Please take note. It is important to distinguish between obsessive-compulsive personality disorder, OCD, and obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD. OCD revolves around a focus on order, perfection, and personal control, whereas OCD involves repetitive behaviors and intrusive thoughts. The distinction lies in the focus and intensity of these characteristics. Beginning with avoidant personality disorder, AFPD, individuals tend to inhibit themselves due to feelings of inadequacy, actively avoiding situations that may invite criticism. Some examples: avoidance of social activities. People with AFPD may consistently avoid social activities, parties, and gatherings, even if they desire social connections. They may decline invitations or make excuses to avoid situations where they may be the center of attention or face potential judgment. Feelings of inadequacy. Individuals with AFPD often have chronic feelings of inadequacy, low self-esteem, and self-doubt. They may believe they are socially inept or inferior to others, which further contributes to their avoidance of social interactions. Reluctance to take risks. Those with AFPD tend to be risk-averse and avoid new experiences or challenges. They may fear failure or embarrassment, leading them to stick to familiar routines and avoid situations that could potentially trigger anxiety or self-doubt. Avoidance of intimacy. People with AFPD may struggle with forming close, intimate relationships. They may be hesitant to share personal thoughts or feelings, fearing vulnerability and the potential for rejection. They may also have difficulty trusting others. Moving on to dependent personality disorder, DPD, the name itself suggests dependency. Individuals with this disorder exhibit submissive and clingy behavior, often relying heavily on others for support. Some examples: excessive reliance on others. Individuals with DPD may have an overwhelming need to rely on others for decision-making, reassurance, and support. They may struggle to make even minor decisions without seeking the input or approval of others. This dependency can extend to various aspects of their lives, such as personal relationships, work, and everyday tasks. Fear of abandonment. People with DPD often have an intense fear of being left alone or abandoned. They may go to great lengths to avoid any situation that could potentially jeopardize their relationships. This fear can lead them to stay in unhealthy or abusive relationships, tolerate mistreatment, or neglect their own needs and desires to maintain the support and presence of others. Lastly, obsessive-compulsive personality disorder, OCD, is characterized by an intense preoccupation with order, perfection, and personal control. This fixation can inconvenience others and hinder projects due to hyperfocus on these aspects, whether in work or educational settings. Some examples: perfectionism. Individuals with OCD often have an overwhelming preoccupation with perfectionism and excessively high standards. They may strive for flawlessness in their work, relationships, and personal endeavors. This can result in spending excessive amounts of time on tasks, being overly detail-oriented, and being critical of themselves and others when standards are not met. Excessive need for control. People with OCD often have a strong need for control and order in their environment and relationships. They may be rigid and inflexible in their routines, rules, and expectations. They may have difficulty delegating tasks and may insist on doing everything themselves to ensure things are done the right way. Preoccupation with order and organization. Individuals with OCD may display an intense preoccupation with order, organization, and neatness. They may meticulously arrange and align objects, maintain strict filing systems, and have a strong aversion to any form of disarray or clutter. Deviations from their established order can cause significant distress and anxiety. Difficulty discarding items. Individuals with OCD may have difficulty discarding items, even when they are no longer useful or necessary. They may accumulate excessive amounts of possessions due to a fear of needing them in the future or a reluctance to part with things that have sentimental value. By acknowledging the existence of personality disorders, we become more compassionate and empathetic towards those who experience them. It reminds us that beneath the surface of seemingly peculiar or erratic behavior, there are underlying struggles and challenges that individuals face daily. Thank you for joining us today on Prince DM Empire's Natural Living YouTube channel. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. Stay tuned for more insightful content.